In a typical African Igbo culture, like where I come from, it is a very known culture that when two people are about to get married, the families concerned in the society, the broader family, not even just the nuclear family, would want to go find out the lady's family or the man's family. So it is called Ijoese, or making findings. So they usually go to ask like head of the village, some of those traditional leaders, pay them homage and then ask around and get to know how their family is perceived, or how, just if there are very iconic things that are known about the family when it comes to their leadership, the kind of persons they are, behavioral tendencies, the ancestral heritage, as well as things like whether madness, certain sicknesses are very predominant with the family or not. And also in the Ibibio culture where I come from is also practiced. So I know that the idea of questioning is something that you cannot remove from human behavior. And usually it beats me, which is why I promised you in the last video that I was going to come up with questions that you should ask her just before you get married to her, or even before you propose marriage to her. Because usually these are things I feel that in the modern world we are seeking to overlook, and it's causing a lot of chaos in marriages. Today we're going to look at 30 questions you should ask a would-be wife or girlfriend who you mean to marry before you make commitments, because it is going to be needed. It's very important. Again, let me put a caveat. There is no way you will know someone 100% until you get married to them. So let me sound that as well. No matter the questioning you ask, no matter what you do, you will always not be able to know someone 100% until you actually get married to them and live in the same house with them. So that's sorted. Let me say that these questions are things that you may have already asked, or you might have already thought about, or you might actually know that they are important, but this is to reiterate them, and I'm going to mention them in about 5 different scenarios so that you can pay attention.
Yes. Let's go.
Number one thing I think you should not, or the number one subcategory that I think you should look at, is expectation that the two of you have. So I'm going to give you a set of questions that will x-ray or make you guys talk about what you guys expect from each other in the relationship. Questions in the second category will be questions around communication and how to resolve conflicts, because it's very important, right? There are some people who have very strict anger issues. There are so many people who have very strict, undecisive behavior, like they can't really take a decision. It's very important at this stage that at least you are able to know or have a sense of their peculiarity behavior in the aspect of communication and conflict resolution. Okay, now also understanding past experiences is so key. Do not marry a girl who doesn't want to talk about her past. There's a video I did that I've already mentioned that, and I'm going to also give you some video you're going to use to scope her and get the best response. Also, I'm also going to show you can use to align and know whether your expectations of each other's relationship align, whether you people are synchronized, whether you people can work together. Okay, so I have to put that off. All right, so on the other hand, the last but not the least category that we're going to look at are questions that will help you address specific other concerns, especially about changing world, the gender roles and all that. So let's get straight into it. Something came to my mind when I was doing the intro before I went to put up this television, and that is that so many times many people think of these questions as, oh, let me go and interview her, so let me call her up and let's have a date and let me ask her these questions. You're not going to get the right response, guys. So what I want you to do is to use these questions. It may not be the same time, but you have to be intentional about making sure you tick them off at your own pace and at the way that will suit the two of you. Because immediately you make it look like an interview, trust me, even when I was single, I'm going to take a walk and I'm going to just think that he's not going to be interested, he doesn't even know what he's doing, right? And you don't want to come off like that. Now, this is me giving you expo into the mind of a woman when it comes to dates and interview and questioning. So one strategy that you must apply is to make sure that these conversations, you start telling her about your part of the conversation, then ask her own in return. Do you understand? Like when I was cutting my husband, we had a lot of long talk, but that was me listening most of the times. He was telling me about himself, so it was easy for me to say, oh, okay, I also, when it comes to this is also what I do, or this is what I think. Do you understand? You get my drift? Right, so don't make it an interview. You're not a journalist, even if your core career is journalism, right? All right, so let's get into it. Let's start with a question that will help you address communication and conflict, because that one is usually the first thing that you notice, right? So you start noticing whether she withdraws, she gets angry easily and all that. So let's dive into it. Number one, how do you usually sort out things when there's a disagreement? Like, you can ask her something like, when you have a disagreement with your lover, like me, how do you sort out that disagreement? Some people can withdraw, some can keep quiet, some can want to address it, and if you don't want to address it, all hell will let loose. So whatever it is, find out by sharing, remember, first, and then letting her know that you like to know about her preference as well. What is her normal inclination towards it. Yeah, that's one. Number two, under communication, like you can ask her to give you a scenario, like tell me about a time you had a very huge argument and what you did, so it can be a form of good relaxation and laughter and oh my god, you did that moment, that kind of thing. The third thing you should also find out is, when she's upset, what does she usually do? Like when she's very angry and upset and just feel like, that feeling of, oh, I'm overwhelmed, I don't like this at all. What do you do? And I heard some people go and start washing everything in the house, like they start washing plates, washing, they can even wash their enemy's clothes, that if it's handbag, they won't even know, they just keep arranging things. Have you heard that too? I know some people do that. They when they're angry, they vent their anger by just getting busy with activities, and that's just an example. So you can just find out, and it will help you know her better. The fourth thing, other communication, I think you shouldn't overlook is finding out whether they are open to like having a counselor to talk to you both, assuming you were married and you're having issues and you are facing a rough patch. Would they be open to you guys going to like a therapist or a counselor, somebody that is a senior or like a mentor, that kind of thing? Because there are some people that I just found out that they don't value those kind of things. And if you're someone who understands this and they don't, or you are the person who is not even open to those things and the person is really very key on it, if you don't agree in that sense, it will not help the issue at the end of the day, right? Okay, there's some people that think that counseling, therapy, all of those things are too extreme. Interestingly, I heard a Nigerian comedian just making a joke about how he had lost things. He had lost his building, his marriages recently and everything. Those who are Nigerians watching, you might know who I'm talking about. So he made a joke that his younger sister had to take him for therapy, and the therapist had to ask him to tell her how she feels, and he was just telling the therapist about everything he's been through, working hard, taking care of his younger ones from when he was a boy, raising them, losing a house and all that. And the therapist was the one who now became teary, that he had to offer the therapist a handkerchief. So you can imagine. But that's by the way. So those are very key ways to also think about, whether you're open to it or not. Another thing you should ask or try to find out is if this person likes to say sorry when they are wrong. And is she the kind of person that admits to when she's wrong? Trust me, a lot of girls, I'm telling you, including myself before, it's hard for us to say, okay, I'm sorry about this, I didn't know that I hurt you. Instead, we might say it in you might know from our action that we are sorry, but we might not say the actual sorry. Some guys are also like that. So if you're somebody who is very big on I want to hear it in affirmative words and all that, you might really get hurt if you're the type that doesn't say sorry at all. So you can try to find out. It will help. Now, number 6 is also finding out from her if she believes in open and sincere conversations. People always say a lot that girls like to be lied to, they don't like to be told the truth, and see, that's not true, right? People need to learn to be open, say things how it is, because there's nothing you're going through that nobody else is going through, right? Under the sun, there's no secret. So if she's not so open to talking things through, being sincere 100%, and you are the kind of person that feels like you shouldn't hold anything back, you guys are going to hit a rough patch very easily. So it's really good for you to find out if she's someone that is honest, who likes honesty and being open, and that will also help put your activities or your behavior in check, because if she's really up for honesty and all that and you are, then good, right? The seventh thing, how often do you think we should have like a heart-to-heart talk about our relationship and about ourselves? This is very important, because if some people feel that there are certain things, or you shouldn't be in your company or in the presence of your husband or wife all the time, you should give yourself space. I don't mean that is wrong, but if this person does not understand where you're coming from, or you people don't understand the need to always talk through everything deeply, you guys one person might be expecting it and the other person isn't getting it, and then there'll be issues, right? Another thing you need to find out if she's somebody who is still very friendly with their ex, or still close to them in that sense. Not that you should be enemies with your exes, you know what I mean, but if she's somebody that still panics like on the day-to-day basis with their exes, and find out if it's something you're comfortable with or not, right? So it's always good to be, they say prevention is better than cure. So it's good for you to know whether both of you find it convenient to stay friends with your exes or not, or certain kind of closeness, and decide how close or how not close you should be. So that's one way. Now let me go to the second part of this, which is, I'm going to start with the 8th point. When you try to understand each other's expectation, these are some of the questions I think you should ask, right? Number one is, what do you think our married life will look like? So that you can paint a picture of the kind of marriage that they really want. Women fantasize a lot about marriage, their dream man, their dream family. So if she's able to paint that picture for you, it's easy for you to find out whether it's the kind of picture you also have, right? And specifically be able to, place things here and there, right? And there's nothing wrong with asking the hard conversations, about everything. Open marriage options, monogamous marriage options, whatever works for you both. It's very important for you to know. Now, also find out from her what she thinks about you two splitting your responsibilities in marriage, because in marriage comes a lot of responsibilities, and so many times we take sides just naturally. These are the things I must do, these are things I expect you to do. Talk about whether you guys can always back up for each other in that sense. So is it okay for me to sometimes take up what should naturally be your responsibility, and you take up mine, and we just switch like that without issues? Or do you think we should stick to making sure that we sort our responsibilities and don't interfere? You know what I mean? Because this is so important. The next one, you'll find out from her what a really interesting day or a great day for her is like. That will help you to understand how she cools off, how she manages stress and all of that. This is very important. What is an ideal day for you? What is like a happy day for you? What will happen in a day and she will feel like, oh my gosh, I had such a great day, that kind of thing. It will help you understand her even more. Now also find out how much work means to her, like career building, working and earning, and also find out what her plans are in climbing the corporate ladder, or improving her work, or expanding her business, whatever the trajectory it is for her. Find out how important and what goals she has for work. This is so important, right? So that you guys can know where to support each other and how to plan to work. The next thing I think you should ask when it comes to each other's expectations is, how do you guys handle money? So you earn, I earn. How do we manage building our home, financing our home? Who brings what? Can we support each other seamlessly, or do we need to agree on certain percentages, or do we give 100%? All of that conversation is very important. And remember, this was the core of the immediate past video that I just did. Money is very important. Money is very important. Okay. Also find out from her what are her big financial goals. What does she intend to do in the next 2 years with her finance? Does she have plans about travel, property, real estate, investment, all of those things? What are her plans? Big goals. What does she want to achieve when she makes a lot of money, and what is her plan towards making it? That way you don't become the husband that is not supporting your wife and not allowing her to be great. You know what I mean? So that puts you in a place where you are sure of what you're going to get. Next, I think you should ask her is, when things get really tough financially, emotionally, she's just stressed out, things are not working as expected. How does she manage herself? How does she manage life when things are not working as expected? Maybe she's broke, or things are just not working, or she doesn't have a job in the interim. How does she cope? It will help you find out whether this person is open to borrowing and is always in debt, or do you understand, or even have people on their necks, whether they have credits that they need to pay up, because a lot of people easily land back to other people to help them when they have especially financial crisis. So it will help you to to kind of just know what's up. Yes, another thing you want to find out from her is what her beliefs are about God, about spirituality, about faith. This one is super important as well, because you don't want to get married to somebody who will not want to join you to pray, or who is always praying and disturbing you. You know what I mean? So either of the divide. I think that your values matching when it comes to spiritual matters is so key. It's one of the things you cannot overlook, at any stage. Other question I think you should ask about expectations from each other. When finding out from her what she needs from you when it comes to affection, closeness, romance. How much of you does she need at every time? So that you don't be the husband who doesn't take care of his wife's emotional needs in that sense. Okay? Now, this is the place you also find out what your peculiar love languages are. All of us have the 5 love languages, which are gifts, words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, and physical touch. Yes, physical touch, affection. So find out how she prefers to receive love and how she prefers to give love. Usually there are 2 different love languages at all, and also communicate yours. If you don't know yours, go and find out. How do you communicate love? Is it through physical touch, acts of service, giving gift, words of affirmation? Find out, and also find out hers. Also ask her if she wants kids in your marriage. Do you want kids in your future? Do you see yourself as a mom? So apart from being wife, so that you know what you're bargaining for. See, choices is a thing in our today's world. So don't brush it under the carpet and say, of course she should be. I told her I love her and she should know we should make a family. Don't assume anything, guy. Don't assume anything. Ask her if she sees children in her future, what kind of mother she wants to be, and also find out what is going to be her approach to parenting. How does she want to parent her children? What kind of mother does she see herself, basically. So let's go to the third part really fast. This is the part we're going to look at how to understand past experiences. So make sure that you ask her lessons she has learned from her past relationships, even her relationship with her parents marriage, growing up, upbringing. I'm not just talking about her exes and all that, or romantic relationships. All of that is in this past experiences. What was growing up like? What did she pick up? What has she decided to be in her future as against the bad experiences she had in her past? Very, very important. Also, in understanding past relationship, find out from her if there are things in her past relationships or past life that she thinks you two need to talk about. Also let her know things in your past also that you have learned from and how it's affected who you have become. That way she can open up and tell you hers as well. So the fourth category, make sure that your future align, your expectations in the future align. And these are some of the questions I think you should ask. Ask her, where is her dream future place to live? Like, where does she see herself living in her future as a married woman? Where does she see herself living when it comes to country, the kind of home, the size of house? You know what I mean? Get all those details, because it's very important. It's easy for you to find where you guys come in there. Also ask, what do you think about moving places? Like, some people can decide that every 4 years we must change to a new house or change to a new city or relocate. And also find out from her what she thinks about travel, like relocation, stuff like that. Very important. Very, very, very important. This will also help you know the kind of jobs you guys can decide to pick, so that it can make your dream of traveling or not possible. Okay. The other thing, you find out from her what her career dreams are, and so that you guys can see how it might affect your relationship. What are her career dreams? Which point does she want to climb to in the corporate ladder? How much does she want to become a big entrepreneur? What kind of global business owner does she want to be? That way you guys can plan for every phase of your marriage and know how to adjust as it comes. It will also help you to decide on the number of children now that you can decide to have, because if you're going to be traveling a lot, building a career, trust me, having a lot of children is going to slow down the progress, or maybe not even allow you to achieve it. You get what I mean? You get it? Now, next one is ask her how does she want to balance. How do you want you guys to balance your jobs and your family time? Like someone like me, this was one of the things that I discussed with my husband when I got married about. Okay, so who is working a 9-to-5 job and who should do business that we can work from home and is flexible? So we decided that that's why I do YouTube, I do my editing, I do the things I do, because I'm the person that said, Oga, hey, from the beginning, I mean, from when I was single, I want this kind of life where I'll be a married woman, taking care of my children, having flexible time, traveling, doing everything that I love to do and earning money while at it, instead of being stuck in an office, not being adventurous in my city, not knowing what's happening, not being able to plan programs, because that's the kind of life I had already built. So it was easy for us to say, oh girl, and that has helped us really when even my business doesn't work, like money is dried up, clients are just like, I'll get back to you. It has also helped us to just say, don't worry, chill. Don't worry, right? If not, you run straight back into a 9-to-5 job and you too will be trapped in your work. But I'm just giving that as an example, so you guys must be able to discuss how do you manage your job and your family lives? How do you guys want it? So that you can paint a picture and begin to create it even before the whole will you marry me and getting married. This is very important. Next things with aligning your expectations is asking things about how you guys can take care of your aging parents as they are getting older. Now, this one can break a family if you don't handle it carefully. So that's why I included it here. I have had a session where my parents had to come stay with my family when my marriage was about 2-3 years, for 5 months, and we had to attend to them, care for them, literally medicals, everything. And I remember many people who visited at that time, also relatives, who said, oh man, you have a good husband. I mean, so many people will not allow their in-laws to come and stay with them for this long and all that. And it was strange to me, but apparently it's a thing, right? And if people don't talk about these things or know themselves enough, it could actually break a marriage. And the stress within that period was enough, assuming that we were not that synchronized with each other. So it's very important to find out what our plans are, taking care of our parents. Are we going to put them on allowances? Are we going to pay for their checkup once in a while? Are we going to be the one to keep them in our home? As Africans, where I come from, we keep our family members and take care of them till death. We don't do like outsourcing in that sense. So if culture, you can put them in old people's home, pay their bills, take care of them. All of those things are what you communicate, so that your wife doesn't feel like, oh, you're spending so much money on your family. What of my own family? Or if maybe her family members or her parents are no more, she doesn't feel like, oh my God, why do I have to do this all the time? So these things are very important. So I'm not telling you what I'm not doing, okay? All right, the next thing you should also find out is whether she also always wants to have her own space and do her own thing alone sometimes or most of the time. This sounds funny because some people think, but if you are married, it's not every married person who naturally want to be together all the time. Some people will feel like that sense of suffocation, like no, I want to be in my space and do my thing. So it's very important. And if you're the person who is expecting her to be everywhere with you, you will be disappointed and might find solace in another person, and then the family start having issues. So this is a good point to ask. I mean, I didn't quite ask this question before I got married, but it just happened that we aligned, naturally. Maybe because we talked about so many other things in relation to it without really saying it in a question, which is why I said, don't make it an interview, make it a discussion and a sharing session. Another thing I think is very important in this particular category before we go to the next is finding out if there are any family traditions or special traditions that she thinks that you both have to do in your own relationship or marriage. Like somebody can have a tradition of, in our home, we always come back in Christmas and all have a dinner as siblings and all our families together. And that's the family culture that I want to uphold in our new home. And you could say, oh, all right, when it's every December or every Christmas, we go back to our countryside or our village to celebrate together. I want us to keep that tradition. You know what I mean? Some people might have a tradition of, oh, every periodically we have to go away to a mountainside or to a spiritual retreat to pray. So it could be anything. It could be fun things, it can be craft, it can be spirituality, it could be just things that will make the family bond and have their own unique identity. And you know, as a man, why you need to ensure these things, because at the end of the day, it is how you create it and lead in your home that will make the woman nurture and help you grow your family. So if there are any gray areas, or she's thinking, why is he behaving this way, or why did he say this, you guys might have issues. So family traditions are very important. You can borrow very positive ones for your home, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to agree and talk about them so that it's easy to also align and plan, right? Also, the final point about the special concern things that are really top priority that I think you should not forget: finding out her thoughts on gender roles in marriage. A lot of people say a husband has to do XYZ, a wife has to do XYZ, and if she doesn't do this, then she's dropping her own bargain for the family or the home. If the man can no longer do this, then this marriage is not going to work. So you have to. And gender roles are very sensitive issues, because people sometimes keep comparing themselves with other people. Oh, in that home, the man doesn't do this, or this is how the man is served, or this is how, when the man comes home, we all bow down and dance and worship him. And when the woman is around, this is how she's pampered or not. And then you want to borrow it into your own home. It won't work. So create your own, define your own identity together by talking about it heart to heart. Finding out what does she think about women's roles, things about, oh, a woman must, do chores, a woman must not go to so much school. What do you need a PhD for? Yeah, girl, you're married to me, so you should stay home and stop aspiring too much. Some people might have those kind of views, and some people might also have the views that, oh, a man is the one that provides all the finances. Mine is to keep mine and enjoy mine. You know what I mean? All of those kind of roles that people are assigned that can bring issues. It can bring issues only when you guys didn't talk about it ahead of time, right? Also, find out, what do you think about dividing chores and housework? Do we do things the same, without minding who is supposed to do this? Like, oh, you are supposed to do the dishes, so me, I'm supposed to sweep. I never do dishes, or I don't know. You guys talk about it. What do you think about chores? Because if she's somebody that believes that, no, I didn't grow up doing chores, or I do chores exclusively, a man shouldn't even come into the kitchen, talk less of touching dishes, you might have an issue, because you might be like, I don't understand. In my own home, you're trying to shut me out from doing the things I want to do and taking care of my home just because you believe it's not my role. It can bring issues. So there's a lot of worldview. So you must make sure that you guys align on chores and sharing homework and all of that, right? And childcare, you know that throwing out trash, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now the 30th one, and of course not the least, there are many questions, but I know this question are just opening you up to many more things you will find out in each of the questions as you discuss. So ask her whether in your marriage, at any point she start feeling unfulfilled or resentful or just overwhelmed with the whole marriage and issues, what would she rather do, or you guys do, about the marriage at that point, so that I can plan that, okay, when you're feeling this way, maybe we should take a vacation. When you're feeling this way, maybe you should go on a girls trip. Maybe you're feeling this way, maybe I should just go away. That kind of thing. I don't know, but what would you want us to do if one of us or you start feeling unhappy about our relationship? What would you like us to do? Should we go talk to another person? Just all of those things you just have to find out. And I think this question will help you a whole lot. Remember, human behavior is not static, is dynamic. So in whatever you're doing, make sure that you're talking to the right person. Make sure that you already vibe with this girl. Make sure that you're already open to this girl, and everything will work out. And as always, I'm rooting for you, and please don't stop rooting for yourself. Being happy is why we are here, and while we are at it, we must make sure that we take along life partners that will ensure our happiness as we go. right? Until I come your way again, keep being fantastic and go ask her those questions. Bye.